Ahoy! Captain Benzie here, coming at you with an intel report. In this series, I sneak into Redwood Studios and steal the blueprints to the different units in Command & Conquer Rivals to tell you how to win with them, and how to deal with your opponent trying to win with them. I don't actually break into Redwood Studios, by the way. Please don't call the cops on me. These videos are currently not monetized, so if you do fancy showing me a little bit of love and helping pay my inevitable bail, there's a link to my digital tip jar below. Hitting the like button also really helps me, and if you want to stay on top of your Rivals gameplay, I'd recommend slamming that subscribe button and ringing the little bell. Today we're looking at the Nod Giga Cannon. The Giga Cannon is the latest and most terrifying result of Nod's research into directed energy weapons and AI systems. Developed as the true successor to Nod's beam cannon, the Giga Cannon's refractive laser is capable of cutting through large enemy formations with ease. Effectively known in the community as the scoot and shoot, Giga Cannons are relatively slow-moving and fragile. Once in position, the Giga Cannon begins to charge up a powerful laser that takes a few seconds to get going, but once at full charge, absolutely melts through enemy ground vehicles. In addition, once at full beam, the laser expands and jumps to adjacent enemy units, allowing the Giga Cannon to obliterate entire clusters of opposition. Once a Giga gets going, it can be very difficult to deal with. At full power, entering the beam is nothing short of suicide, and being too range means that slower units like Predators will struggle to get their own weaponry to bear before being melted to pieces. If you're using ground vehicles, they need to be fast to get in and take the Giga Cannon out quickly. Alternatively, wait for the beam to die, then rush in with anti-vehicle infantry. Jump jet troopers are especially good at this. Your best answer to Giga Cannons, however, is undoubtedly aircraft. A Giga Cannon's beam cannot hit air units, so hard-hitting units like Orcas, Banshees, or even laser drones are great options for taking these guys out. If it's you running the Giga Cannon, you'll need to provide some form of protection against these threats. You see, Giga Cannons don't just squeeze into any old deck. They're very much the theme of the deck, and you'll need to build around them to get the most out of these devastating disco balls of death. This deck was popularized during the Command & Conquer Rivals launch event with variations run by Blade and Iraqi Zorro. Now the variation I'm showing here is based loosely on Blades and uses only early unlock units. By the time you have the Giga Cannon, you should have everything else here too. The aim of this deck is to seize ground and to reinforce it with a Giga Cannon. Lasers form your scouting unit with flame troopers close behind for anti-infantry duties early on. Given the chance, you can transition up into the War Factory to move towards your Giga Cannons, with attack bikes for anti-aircraft duties, and buggies to deal with an opponent sending out massed infantry, or MG squads, snipers, or chem warriors that you may otherwise struggle with. The Banshee provides you with later game heavy anti-air punch, and also allows you to get stuck in and dig out any particular enemy vehicles that may be a little bit more difficult to get to. For commanders, Oksana and Seth both work well. Oksana allows you to position your Giga Cannons faster with her buff, and a Giga Cannon with the additional damage from fanaticism is downright terrifying. Seth gives you access to a drill pod to block units approaching your Gigas, and puts up flame troopers to either steal pads. Yes, I know I say this a lot, but it still amazes me how so few people use drill pods for this. Or you can use them to protect your Gigas from infantry assaults. Now you can theoretically swap the Banshees out for Scorpions or for Tick Tanks if your Banshees aren't well leveled. And digging in with Tick Tanks can create a nice wall for your Giga Cannons to hide behind. These two options do leave you rather open to heavier aircraft though. The Banshee could also theoretically be swapped out for stealth tanks to slightly reduce the cost of your first anti-air punch unit, but these can be more expensive in the long run, and they share a vulnerability to anti-vehicle infantry with your Giga Cannons. Banshees are definitely my recommendation here, but do let me know if you run a variant of this deck that you think works better. I hope that's helpful. Be sure to check out my other intel reports if you're struggling against certain units, or looking for tips as to how to best apply a new unit in your deck. Also check out my Acting on Instinct series with analysis of game mechanics and solid advice on how to get ahead in Rivals. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe to be up to date and ahead of the game. Happy sailing, and see you on the battlefield!